First thing is first, as always, we've got the dollar. So with the DXY, I am very intrigued by the price action because we were quite bullish yesterday. But not so much yesterday, more so kind of overnight. Of course, we kind of got a bit of a gap here. If I take a look at it on a different market, oh, there's still a gap there as well. Okay, interesting. But yeah, we have seen a pretty bullish dollar. It has retraced most of that since price has pushed higher, but overall we have broken through structure here, which is the one thing I didn't want price to do as a bear. Now, I would still say I'm pretty bearish. I still think the bigger move is still back to the lows here. That's still my expectation for USD, but I'm not a fan of us taking out the highs here. It does look like resistance is being respected, and we could still potentially see that decline, but the breaker structure does lower the probability of the setup. Like I said, I still am bearish. We're still respecting some really nice structure here around 100.4. Really nice resistance support there as well. Perhaps it could give us the continuation, but the breaker structure does make things awkward, and that's always a theme with trading. The setup's not always perfect. Sometimes you will get some setups that are borderline perfect, but there's always something you can potentially spot which you don't like about a setup. But I have to admit, it's a nice rejection of the level. Perhaps if we can maintain that, I do think we can see the push. A nice double top could be a really nice entry signal, perhaps on like a euro or a pound. But I still am bearish because I'm basically looking for the continuation of this bearish trend. There's no signs of bullish life coming to the market. I know we've had that rally and it's taking out the highs there, but it's not a significant break of structure, which is the key thing I'm trying to get at. It's not a significant break of structure, so it doesn't lead me to believe, okay, now I'm expecting a very bullish USD. It might be the start of something if I see development and continuation to the upside, so higher highs and higher lows. Well, yeah, I'll probably will start to change my tune there and become bullish there on the dollar. As we haven't had that developed bullish structure yet, I would still be looking at a push down. Perhaps we might have just been faking out some highs, grabbing some liquidity to potentially continue. So I'm still bearish on the dollar, although it has lowered the probability of the set. I would have liked to see price kind of respect that area of supply there, but as we can see, it did not. So we're going to see what price does in reference to this level, 100.5 we'll call it. If we can stay below, I think the shorts still look good. If we start breaking above that and see some higher lows, I think I'll pause that bearish bias for USD completely and probably even become bullish at that point. If we take a look at EURUSD, with this one, same sort of situation. We did break to the downside, take out these lows here as well. So again, not really what I wanted to see as a bull for euro. Kind of respecting this level here, but again, I'm not a big fan of the breaker structure. So with EURUSD, again, I still do have that bullish bias, but I just don't see a clear-cut setup here. So, I mean, I was never really looking to trade euro this week, but if I was, now that we've got the breaker structure, I would pause on that bias. Again, from a higher time frame perspective, that's where the momentum lies to the upside. So naturally, I still do think price can push on, but in terms of the setup, in terms of finding entries, which of course is the most important thing, I'm not seeing any clear-cut opportunity. So I would stay away from euro. Other USD pairs look a lot better, which we'll get to in a moment. But euro with the break of structure there does lower the probability of the setup. And again, if we start to see some continuation to the downside, so some lower lows and lower highs, well, again, that would put me pretty bearish on the market. We'd be looking for a break and retest of structure, a swing back into these lows, and maybe further as well. So that would make me pretty bearish with EURUSD. I'm not quite bearish yet because I want to see that development with that bearish structure. But until then, we'll see how things get going. Like I said, I'm still bullish, but I don't see a clear-cut opportunity to actually buy this one. I know we're kind of respecting some structure to our left there, but I'm not quite a fan just yet. Not quite a fan. Pound USD, on the other hand, looks a lot better. Pound USD, I like this one a lot better. Price had a really nice rally to the upside. Of course, that was from last week. We have cleared major resistance on the daily/weekly chart. So we've made great progression past this point here. And we've just about come back for a retest, which is basically the setup which we're describing coming into the week for pound. We've seen a really nice break above this level from last week's candle. And now we're coming back to retest that same zone. So as long as we can stay above this area, use it as support, I do think this is a great place to be looking for longs and continuing that pound USD trend to the upside. If price, of course, was to close back below this week, that would be a big red flag for the buyers. And we could probably anticipate this to be a bit of a fake out for more downside. So we don't want to see price close back below. That's if, of course, you're looking to buy pound USD. And so far, we're not getting that. You can see prices resting very, very nicely on this level. So I like the buys for pound USD. Euro looks like we've kind of broken structure, so it looks quite awkward right now. Pound USD looks like the much better opportunity. I think in terms of entries, a nice double bottom would be nice for some entries, and then targets, keeping it relatively simple, a swing back to the highs. We've been very consistent with these higher lows. I would just be looking for the next swing to the upside now. So pound USD, still pretty bullish on this one, expecting more upside for pound. We're still respecting 1.34, so as long as we stay above that, it keeps me bullish, keeps me expecting more upside for pound USD at this point. If we do break through, like I said, I'll put that bias to a pause, not necessarily flip the bias yet. I want to see how we close on the week. But yeah, as long as we remain above 1.34, very bullish. I think a nice double bottom would be a great entry signal, and targets back to the swing high makes a load of sense. Dollar CAD, something I'm still keeping a very close eye on. I'm still pretty bearish on the dollar CAD. So despite the USD strength and despite USD CAD strength as well, dollar CAD's been on a pretty nice swing to the upside there. I'm still looking to short this one, but I must admit price action isn't looking spectacular. I'm not the biggest fan of how we've retraced. It's quite aggressive, almost like a V-shaped pattern here, which again more resembles reversal rather than continuation. So not the big fan of that. I'm kind of waiting for a bit more development, for price to kind of slow down a little bit more, and then hopefully get the short at some point in time, maybe next week at this point. But I'm still very, very bearish on dollar CAD. Look to the higher time frames. There's a massive area of kind of demand just below us here. We had that brief consolidation, that massive double bottom, and price rally to the upside from that exact same point. I do expect us to come back and revisit that area. We had a very sharp breakout, no retest. This will be the first time price is coming back to that area. I would expect price to be attracted towards that area as well. And of course, currently on the daily chart, we still do have bearish structure, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So as long as this bearish structure maintains, I do think we just naturally end up back at that 1.36 zone. So I do think dollar CAD's likely to keep falling. Now I'm just looking for a good trade to get involved. Like I said, the retracement here has been very aggressive, almost like a V-shaped pattern, which again is not something I want to be shorting, something I want to be very cautious of. As I said yesterday, there's two zones I'm looking at, this area here being 1 and this area here being 2. So at the moment, this area is not looking too good. We'll see how things shape. Maybe it does look good. In a couple of days or so, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, I wouldn't be looking to jump into any shorts. If we kind of slow down, become a bit more corrective, and I see something that I like, then it's probably the second zone where I actually do end up getting some entries to take it back down. Again, as long as dollar CAD doesn't break through this swing high here, I stay bearish and I stay looking for shorts back to 1.36. So as long as price stays below that, I stay bearish. And at the moment, price is below that, so I'm only looking to short the pair. But I have to admit, price action ain't looking that good. So I think I probably will be ending up looking and focusing more at 1.392, this second zone here. So we'll see how that develops over the next couple of days. But dollar CAD looks like a good short, but it's not ready yet. I wouldn't be jumping into sales just yet. Aussie dollar. So this one I am still pretty bullish longer term. Can I spell? No, I can't. There we go. I'm still very bullish longer term. I do think we can see a massive move to the upside for Aussie dollar, but again, I'm not a big fan of this ascending channel. Market's very, very corrective here, and we'll kind of just, back and forth, and I'm not interested in finding any opportunities within this range. This is not really an area which I want to operate in. I want price to push down against me, find some entries around 0.625, and that's where I want to try and pick up some longs. I think from a swing perspective, that would be a great place where you can hopefully find a trade and hold back to highs. So the risk reward and the opportunity looks very, very good. And it's kind of well out the way of the noise, because inside this channel here is where all the noise is for Aussie dollar. There'll be a lot of people getting chopped up, buying and selling and trying to catch some moves within this confined space, and that just would be a disaster to try and get involved there. Again, not to say you can't get a winning trade inside here, you definitely can, but you can definitely find some losing trades there very, very easily. I want to be away from the noise, where the value is, and then take trades from there. And something around here, 0.625 would do the job for me. So still waiting for this big inverse head and shoulder pattern to play out. Not too sure if we will ever get there, but I'm just going to wait and see. Again, I've got multiple markets which I'm monitoring. With Aussie dollar, it's just a waiting game. Yeah, so that's basically the update. Just more kind of sideways price action. Not interested in that vicinity until we do break lower and come to some more appropriate areas for a big buy. Ends the USD. Not much to speak about with this one, I suppose. Overall, still very, very flat. Similar to Aussie dollar, I do think there's a big move to the upside to be had. I talked about the break of resistance here. If we can get that, I think that would be a fantastic place to look for a break and retest of. So if you can see price clear the resistance there, some pullbacks, I think naturally that would be a great place for a buy. And I do think the lows here will be a great place for a buy as well. 0.58500 we'll call that. We've got some really nice resistance, which will, of course, will be turned support just below us. And I would be looking for a big double bottom here, in the expectation that all this momentum is likely going to continue. And this is kind of like a big correction, if you will. And we're just going to see the continuation. And if I can find some longs there, that'll be a great place to find some entries and look for the bigger move. But of course, if that doesn't happen, I still like the idea of the break and retest at the highs as well, 0.60250. So ends the USD still bullish, Aussie dollar still bullish, dollar CAD still bearish, pound USD still bullish, euro I'm kind of mixed bag with euro, but my bias is still favoring USD weakness for now. It's just we had that bigger pullback on the DXY, which has made things a bit awkward. But it wasn't a significant move. It hasn't broken any major structure yet. So I am still looking for that dollar weakness. Gold, on the other hand, I'm pretty bearish on actually. And we have seen more downside. Like I said, we respected the channel there at the start of the week. That made me bearish. I said the bias for gold is pretty simple, to be honest. Well, in reference to the channel. If price can break out the channel, I'm bullish. If price rejects the channel, I'm bearish. And that's what we got on Monday there. Nice shift in momentum. And the market's been slowly pushing down. It hasn't really done anything too crazy, I must admit. But again, as long as we maintain the high of the channel there, I do think we can end up back at support, which is 31.40, we'll call it. Again, the only way I look to change that bias is if we do start to break out of this. Then, of course, I'll be bullish again and then naturally targets back to the high. But at the moment, not looking likely. And I think even from an intraday point of view for gold, there's probably some sells to be looking at as price comes back into some structure there. Might be a nice short for another lower high. We've got 1, 2, 3, perhaps could see a fourth, and that can continue that trend there. So yeah, gold looking pretty bearish, more downside as long as we can maintain the top of the channel, which so far we're doing. I think 31.40 is a likely target for gold. Silver, on the other hand, I'm sure still sideways. Yeah, still sideways with silver. So not much of an update, to be honest, in regards to silver. Just still kind of trading within this box here. Again, long term, still very bullish on the on the pair. I do think we're still likely to go and break through highs here at 34.8, 35, we'll just call it. I still think we're likely to eventually break through the highs there, but I'm just not willing to be buying at any of these levels, to be honest. We're trading within a range here. Price is coming into some big areas of supply to the left. This is where we had a brief range and price dumped to the downside very aggressively. So naturally, don't really want to be buying at these prices. And yeah, I mean, if anything, could wait for a push back to the low end of the range and try and take some buys off the low. That would make a lot more sense. Perhaps some sells at the highs, but I kind of want to be focused on the buys there for silver. So not too interested, but yeah, not much of an update for silver. I'm not seeing a clear-cut opportunity there. So for the time being, not really paying too much attention until I see some momentum, until price can kind of break out, and then hopefully can find some opportunities shortly afterwards.